right, good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Sawyer, and tonight I'll be serving as the chair. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for May 4th, 2023, and we will hear the cases in the order they appear on your agenda. First matter of business, citizen comment. Karen, did we have somebody sign up? Nope, okay. Next, we need to approve the meeting minutes, so several meetings here. First was March 2nd, 2023, regular Planning and Zoning meeting. March 22nd, 2023 was a special P&Z meeting. April 3rd, a special P&Z meeting. April 6th, regular Planning and Zoning meeting. And then April 13th, which was the special P&Z meeting. And we're going to need
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Bell.
Second.
Second, Tanner. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, next, moving into the consent agenda. Item 3 on your agenda, we will need a
Motion to approve.
Motion, Tanner.
Second.
Second, Jordan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Rule 15 plats. We've got item 4.1.1 is a plat vacation. You want to present that one? We want to hit 4.1.1 first? It's a vacate.
No, 4.1.1 should be 114th and MLK Estates.
Okay. So then, you got that, did I have that wrong on my cheat sheet? Okay, so disregard that, that's normal. So we will start with city staff, Rule 15 plats.
Okay, good evening. This is the Rule 15 plat for 114th and MLK Estates. The applicant is Centerline Engineering and Consulting, and this plat is located north of East County Road 7300 and west of County Road 2500 in the Lubbock County ETJ, and they are requesting a paving delay. Here's the plat. Here are engineering conditions, GIS conditions, further GIS conditions, and planning conditions. Staff recommends approval of the plat with conditions and denial of paving delays. Being that this plat is located within the county, the city does not have the authority to approve paving delays. That would fall under the county's jurisdiction here. So,
Okay, any questions for staff?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion, Tanner. Second, Mr. Bell. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next, 4.1.2, James subdivision.
Hello, Board. I'm Greg Hernandez with the Planning Department. This is James Subdivision. The applicant is Delta Land Surveying and Engineering for a Rule 15 plat requesting water, sewer, and pavement delays. The plat is south of East 50th and east of Elm Avenue in East Lubbock. Here's the plat. Here are engineering conditions and GIS conditions. More GIS conditions. And staff recommends approval of the plat with conditions, water, sewer, and paving delays. And I can take any questions at this time.
Okay, any questions? All right, we need a motion.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion, Mr. Bell.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wheatley. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And last, Rule 15, 4.1.3. Ashley.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Padilla. This is for Veterans Memorial Center, Tract A. The applicant is Hugo Reed and Associates Incorporated for Rule 15 plat requesting sewer, paving, and water delays. Here's the plat, generally located south of East 50th Street and east of Olive Avenue in East Lubbock. Conditions from engineering and conditions from GIS. Staff recommends approval of plat with conditions, sewer, paving, and water delays. Can take any questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Need a motion?
Motion to approve item 4.1.3.
Second.
Second, Avi. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Now Now we will move into zone cases. We'll hear from staff. Zone case 5.1 on your agenda.
Good evening, my name is Cassie. This is zone case 3482. The applicant is Travis Turner for Suju LLC. The request is for a zone change from two-family district R2 to family apartment district A1. We sent out 30 notifications and have received 0 in favor, 2 in opposition, and 1 in neutral. The property is in District 1 and is located south of 21st Street and east of Avenue V. Here is a mail-out notification map. And here is an aerial view of the subject property. The property is adjacent to medium-density residential land uses. Zone 2 Family District R2 to the north, east, south, and west. The future land use map designates this area for low-density residential land uses. The proposed zone change is not compatible with this designation. Here are photos of the subject property and the surrounding area. Records from the Building Safety Department indicate the structure directly behind the main home was originally constructed as a garage/storage and was converted into a servant's quarter in December of 1945. Additional records from the Building Safety Department indicate all 3 structures were being used as dwellings in June 1982 as depicted in a permit for gas service for units A, B, and C on the property. If the 2 structures behind the main home were converted to dwellings before November 20th, 1980, the owner was required to register the units by May 1st, 1981. The city has no record of registration for these units and no record of when they were converted to dwelling units. If the units were converted prior to dwelling before November 20th, 1981, since the property owner failed to register the units, they are in violation and not legally permitted to be used as dwellings. If they were constructed or converted to dwellings after November 20th, 1981, then it was done illegally. The proposed zone change is not in conformance with the zoning ordinance and will not be appropriate at the proposed location. The proposed zone change is not compatible with the surrounding area and it will change the character of the existing development. The property is located south of 21st Street and east of Avenue V, which are both designated as local streets by the Master Thoroughfare Plan. Local streets provide access to smaller destination-oriented areas such as neighborhoods, subdivisions, and local business districts. Staff recommends denial of this request, and we can take any questions at this time.
What is a neutral?
They stated that they were confused as to if they were opposed or in favor. So just neutral. They didn't have an opinion. They just replied back to the letter.
So there's a garage there now, and it's being used as an apartment. Am I understanding that right?
The applicant is here. I would like for you to speak with him.
So was it before 1981 or after November 20th, 1981? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, so you're just making the point.
We're just giving you all the history that we have.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any?
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So if, I'm assuming the request is for A1 so that there could be 3 different tenants.
Yes.
And so is that the only solution? To have 3 tenants?
Yes, to rezone it to A1
Okay.
for a triplex.
Are there other registered garage apartments in this neighborhood?
I didn't see any.
do we know how long it's been, the cities, we don't, never mind. We'll ask the applicant.
And just to your question about any other alternative routes, the only other route would be if the applicant can prove that these structures were constructed as or converted to apartments before November 20th, 1980. They could go in front of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, but since the owner does not live on the property, they would also have to prove that the units have been used as dwellings continuously since 1980 without sitting vacant for more than a year. And then the Zoning Board of Adjustment could consider giving them approval to use all 3 units. Yes.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. All right, then we'll go ahead, we'll open the public hearing. And is the applicant here? Like to make any, yes, sir? You want to make any additional comments? Please state your name and address.
That'd be great. Travis Turner, and the address of my personal house? Or this
Your
one?
office, whatever.
Yeah, 9607 Milwaukee's business address. Just real quick on this property, I think the first time it sold was when I first started in real estate in like 2015. My company's managed it for the past 3 years as a rental. It's changed hands 3 times. Since we've managed it with 0 problems, the property just across the street, 2122 21st, is zoned as duplex or multifamily, exactly what we're requesting. And they pretty much have the exact same little building in the back that they currently run and rent. And we managed that unit until like a couple months ago. The front unit's been rented. The middle unit is completely converted, like loft, with each building has its own kitchenette, like stove. Each has its own shower, restroom, toilet, the full 9 with living quarters. The middle unit's got a carport. The rear unit, somebody had talked about parking. The picture that was taken, we haven't had tenants in there because we were required to remove them. The reason this all got brought up is because there was a leak in the gas line, and Atmos came out and took a look, and the city got involved and said, hey, they told my client that we're managing for that she needs to put a separate gas meter for each unit. And so Atmos charged her $5,000 in order to get compliant, which then they told her, hey, you no longer can rent these after she spent the money. So, but there's one literally the exact same type of property right across the street.
So you have 3 gas meters now?
We do. Yeah, she paid to install those before she found out that they no longer will allow her to rent it as a triplex. So we had to remove the tenants.
So you've always had 3 tenants there before, prior to, that you've been involved with the property?
Correct.
And I'm assuming you don't appear to be 42 years old?
Yeah, the ordinance from 1981, I won't be able to prove that. It was before I was born, but.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant as of now? So we have history going back to 2015.
So there's no intent to pull another permit for something here? This is just a
Business as usual.
compliance type deal?
Correct. The only reason I'm here is because we've been renting it as 3 units since like I said, since I've been in real estate, and then now, after she fixed the gas meter, now it's no longer able to be rented the same. So she's just asking for the same thing that's right across the street, pretty much.
So out there and put the 3 meters in properly. Okay. Anything you want to add?
Christian? Question, he was
Yes.
talking about the property across the street. What is it zoned? Because going the map, it was showing all R2.
R2. So 2122 21st is zoned R2. It does not have a registered unit on it. I checked the records for the Zoning Board of Adjustment back in 2016. A request was submitted for a guest house to include a kitchen, which was denied,
So if they're doing it now, they're doing it illegally.
most likely, yes.
Well, you're probably going to have this in an older neighborhood. It's probably going to be pretty common.
Well, no, but it's just when they asked for it and it got denied.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for the applicant? As of now? Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this zone case? Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Okay, then we will close the public hearing, and I do believe, you said that there were 2 letters of opposition with this? Yes. Is that what you had? Okay. And I need a motion just for purposes.
For matter of discussion, motion to approve. Oh, you haven't closed your public hearing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there's nobody here to speak in opposition or in favor, so I'm closing the public hearing. That's okay.
Okay.
So go
So
ahead.
restate, motion to approve.
We'll need a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wheelie. All right.
I know there's a host of these top registered rear apartments in Tech Terrace. I've seen them and I've seen the documents on them. It looked like what I could tell on that 1981 document, it looked like it was close to that time. I mean, if I could go back and look at that, there's really no telling, like, that could have been filed after the fact, or that could have been in conjunction. I mean, it's kind of like, here we are 43 years later, 42 years later. It's kind of I'm okay with it, because he's going to operate it as is. It's not like he's doing a demolition job and he's going to put a new multi-unit apartment back. He's going back with, or it's like a cleanup case, to me, just my opinion.
I agree. I mean, and even if he did scrape it and try to build something else, I mean, he's gonna have to meet setback requirements and everything else.
Right. It's protected.
Yeah, that's, my first, my only qualm was the 3, because I understand exactly what you're saying, but when you get in and you get if he tried to change it, the limitations he'd have with it as it was.
And the investment was made for 3 meters. They had the work done,
Yeah.
kicked the tenant out, now they're coming back and asking, so I'm okay with it. Any other discussion?
So the motion is to approve the staff's recommendation? Or
No.
to approve the case?
Approve
Okay,
the case.
Thank you.
So my question, though, is now the neighbor behind him wants to do this, because now we've allowed 3 to live on this lot, and we just voted that.
I guess the biggest thing for me is it's had 3 tenants for who knows how long.
Yeah.
It's been operated that way.
But illegal's illegal.
Well, and they're legal
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but that's why they're coming back and asking. But if the people behind them were to come back and ask me, it doesn't necessarily mean that I would approve it if it hadn't been done that way. This has been built that way for, I don't know if you can speak to how long, but
Said 40s or 50s.
yeah. So,
How long have they not had someone living in that duplex though? Because they've been repairing it for an extended period of time. So how long has it been since there's actually been tenants in those units?
can you answer that?
Yeah, whenever we got the city or the, whatever they sent out saying we can't have it zoned that way, we had to remove the tenants. So it's only been, I would say, 3 months.
So to address that question, like, what if the neighbor to the side or the back said, well, I want to do this too, then they would have to pull a permit, right? To build that. And so then you're getting into all these new setback scenarios, and it's just really not even possible. It's really not even possible to build an A1 product on something like that.
Not on the lots that small,
Yeah.
from the 50s. But they could come ask. They have to ask, get it rezoned. Okay, any other discussion, comments?
I'm still concerned about illegal. Would it be legal for them to do that?
After, that's what we're here to,
I guess, so once we make the vote, that it would make it legal.
Correct.
go
Okay.
to city council for them
Right.
to
Right.
Yeah.
So basically what they did,
Understand.
when they found out it was out, they pulled out the way they're supposed to and come and ask. They got to look different on them if it would have been, it had it for all this time.
And the UDC says it is to be a two-family, correct? No.
We can't really talk about UDC because it's not in effect.
I don't even have it pulled up. Okay, any other comments or discussion? before we call the question? You good, Renee? You still thinking?
I'm still thinking, because I'm thinking about future, how this is gonna impact the future. And so I wanna be clear, when y'all say we have to take into consideration that they wouldn't be able to actually do it because of the new rules that are in place. It can only be kept the way it is because they wouldn't be approved for the other, like setbacks and things like that. Am I correct?
I want to make sure I understand your question. So if this zone change gets approved through city council, we will still have to verify that this now apartment complex has the required parking, landscaping, all of that. We'll still double check all of that.
But say they decide to, because I always think future.
Okay.
If they demolish this
Okay.
unit
Mhm.
altogether
Mhm.
and they decide to build something else, it's zoned for an apartment.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Based on what the gentlemen are saying, it wouldn't pass because it wouldn't meet the standards that are required based on the setbacks for an apartment complex.
It could.
It
I mean, it just
could.
depends.
It's, I'll let
I
the
guess that's where I was
developer speak to it.
confused based on what they were saying, is that if something else was built there, it wouldn't meet those requirements, so an apartment complex couldn't be there. But you're saying, yes, it could, if they came back and asked for special requests based on their,
Well, I think from a developer standpoint, I think it'd be very difficult because you have to park it, you have to, the landscape requirements with the setbacks of the new zoning code, not new, but the old zoning code even. It makes it much, it's not a.
harder, but not impossible.
It's not, nothing. You could make it a one-room apartment, but then it's a residence at that point.
What I
Okay.
meant was, they're not
Okay.
gonna be able to go build like a, 3-story tall building.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
not a-
that's,
because you'd have your height requirements, you'd have,
Yeah.
okay,
because it's got the other neighboring properties, you have. when
to
you're
take
so
those
far-
into consideration.
Right.
Okay, I just want, that's why I was confused in the understanding of all of it.
Kind of like you get one little lot just because it's that, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't make it all because there's
Okay,
extenuating circumstances or.
I'm good with it. That
Complement.
makes sense now. It confused me a little bit. Sorry about that.
No,
No,
good
that's a good
question.
question. Okay, any other comments or discussion? All right, this is for denial, so city
No.
staff is for denial.
City staff's
Recommending
my
denial.
motions for approval.
Approval. Thank you. Y'all ready? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that will pass, go to city council. Moving on to item 5.2, zone case 2995HH.
Okay, this is zone case 2995HH. The applicant is Centerline Engineering and Consulting for T Market Properties LLC, requesting a zone change from two-family district R2 specific use for reduced setbacks to general retail district C3. We've sent out 8 notifications, receiving 0 back. This property is located east of Monticello Avenue and south of 66th Street. Here's an aerial view of the property with the school to the west. To the north and south is vacant land, and to the east is a shopping center. The current zoning is two-family specific use. The future land use plan designates this property for commercial. Here are photos of the property and its surroundings. A graphic provided by the applicant. The future land use map designates this area for commercial land use. The proposed zone change to C3 would be in conformance with this designation. This request would be appropriate next to the existing C3 zoning that surrounds the property. The proposed zoning request is in conformance with the zoning ordinance. It is appropriate for this area, compatible with the surrounding area, and it will not change the character of the existing development. The proposed rezoning location will be along Monticello Avenue. Monticello Avenue is designated as a local street, and staff recommends approval of this request. I can take any questions.
Could you go back to the zoning map again?
Or which one, the current or the future?
That one's.
Okay.
did that track just get forgot, or, I mean, how,
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
It looks
Why
like
is
it's
it
like-
so
Is this
misplaced?
cleanup?
is it?
It's a cleanup.
Yeah.
This is what
Okay.
happens when you zone stuff with meets and bounds and then
Mhm.
come back
Okay.
in and rezone stuff.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Just clean up, that makes, 'cause
Got it.
thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, any other questions for staff? All right, not hearing any, we'll go ahead, we'll open the public hearing, and is the applicant here, or is it her representative? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address.
My name is Carter Feldhoff. Work address is 8312 Upland Avenue. We're here to change the zone case just to make conformance. It was remnants of previous zoning that just got out of whack and never got corrected. And so we're here to just make everything conform and look nice and easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Good, all right. Okay, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this zone case? Anyone here to speak in favor? Okay, we'll close the public hearing.
Matter discussion, motion to approve zone case 2995HH.
Second. Second, Avi. Any questions, discussion? All right, not seeing or hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now we'll go to city council. Item 5.3, zone case 3003-H.
Good evening. This is the zone case 3003-H. The applicant is Hugo Reed and Associates Incorporated for Fountain Hills LP, and the request is to rezone from R1 specific use to local retail district C2. Subject property is located north of 107th Street and east of Milwaukee Avenue. We've sent 7 notifications, receiving back 1 in favor. Here's the notification map. Here's the aerial map. There is vacant land to the north and south with homes to the east and a water tower to the west. Here's the zoning map. The surrounding properties are zoned Transition District T to the west, local retail district C2 to the south, single family district R with a specific use for reduced setbacks to the east and to the north. And here's the future land use map. It designates this area for low-density residential land uses. Here are photos of the subject and surrounding property. Future land use map designates this area for low-density residential land uses. This request does not conform to this designation, but would be appropriate next to adjacent residential and commercial land uses, and it's also along a major thoroughfare. Therefore, this request is in moderate conformance with the comprehensive plan principles. Proposed zone changes conformance with the zoning ordinance, and the property is located adjacent to compatible land uses along a major thoroughfare. The proposed zone changes compatible with the surrounding area, would not change the character of the existing development. And the property is along Milwaukee Avenue, which is designated as a principal arterial by the Master Thoroughfare Plan 2018. Staff recommends approval of this request, and I can take any questions at this time.
Is this basically to get the property lines to align across that alley? Is it?
I would
clean up,
suspect.
taking a little sliver?
They just need a little more land, yeah,
Okay.
for the commercial.
Okay, I guess I'll ask Terry. That's easy. Any questions for staff? Okay, you saw same thing I did?
Same thing.
Okay, then we will open the public hearing, and is the applicant here? Of course is.
Have we met him before?
Where else would I be on a Thursday night?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Terry Holman with Hugo Reed and Associates. We're at 1601 Avenue N. Mr. Sawyer, you're close, but that isn't precisely that we just needed to get just a little bit more land. I think if you hear the history on this, it'll help explain it.
Can you go back to the,
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did I just do it? I did. Yay, I know how to work a computer. The yellow hatched area was the first zone case that we did way back in the day when we first started this overall development. The whole almost square mile was R1 specific use, and back in the day we were doing that for reduced setbacks. You've seen a ton of those cases. And then it's not stated in here, but sometime after 2004, I can't remember, I think it was 2007, if memory serves me correctly. We came in and we zoned the pink area as C2, all of that frontage along Milwaukee Avenue. And that sat dormant for a while. We've since done some commercial development south of 107th, but this particular piece didn't have any activity on it. And then in 14, we came back and we zoned essentially this whole pink area, including our sliver tonight. That was what was requested as C4 specific use. That project did not go forward, and so our 30 months lapsed on that specific use zone case. Meanwhile, we had already done a lot of engineering, and we had already placed a sewer line at the north edge of this box that we're looking at tonight that we're asking for. So we had already contemplated for the north boundary of what used to be the C4 specific use. That didn't go through. It reverted back to these prior zoning cases. And when we were looking at it a little bit more in depth recently, we realized we did have this remnant of R1 specific use that didn't line up with our engineering plans, the north line, where the sewer line is, and where we really do intend to develop. So there's nothing magical about how that lines up with the alley or anything like that. It's just the area that we had always contemplated, and it just didn't jive exactly with the prior C2 that we had. So I think this is the night of cleanup cases. So we're just trying to capture the land that we had always been trying to capture out here as commercial.
Okay.
Long story, sorry, but that's it.
It makes sense. You explained it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Okay, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this zone case or in favor? Not seeing any. We will close the public hearing, and we'll need a motion.
For matter of discussion, motion to approve as zone case 3003H.
Second, Mr. Wheatley. Any questions, discussion? Everybody understand? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That'll carry 7-0 to City Council. And last 5.4. Zone case 2538II.
This is zone case 2538II. The applicant is Westar Commercial Realty for Jibo Distributing Company Incorporated, requesting a zone change from single-family district R1 to light manufacturing district M1. We've sent out 8 notifications, receiving 4 in favor. This property is located south of 19th Street and west of Fairbank Avenue. Here's the notification map. Here's an aerial view of the property with vacant land to the west. To the north is vacant land and a residential home. To the east are residential homes, and to the south is vacant land. The current zoning is single family. The future land use plan designates this property for residential low density. Here are photos of the property and its surroundings. Graphic provided by the applicant. The future land use map designates this area for residential low-density land use. Although the proposed zone change to M1 would not be in conformance with this designation, it is in conformance with the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, and it would be appropriate next to the existing M1 zoning to the west of the subject property. The proposed zoning request is in conformance with the zoning ordinance and is appropriate for this area, compatible with the surrounding area, and will not change the character of the existing development. The proposed rezoning location will be along 19th Street and Fairbank Avenue. 19th Street is designated as a principal arterial, and Fairbank Avenue is designated as a local street. Staff recommends approval of this request, and I can take any questions.
Any questions for staff?
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll go ahead, we'll open the public hearing. Is the applicant here like to add any additional comments? Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and address.
Kevin Watt, 5709 79th Street, Lubbock, Texas. We're basically expanding what we had already had there on the M1 zoning. For Jibo's, it requires light manufacturing for outdoor display. There's not ever going to be manufacturing there. I just want people to know that. The price is way too high for that land. But anyway, that's all we have. Thanks.
Question for you. This is one This came back for GBOs, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
That's correct.
Okay, I was
Yes.
thinking
Yeah.
that this was familiar, I'm thinking, hey,
Yeah.
they did that, so you're just expanding it a little bit more is what you're doing.
We're doing a bigger lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for staff, or I'm sorry, for the applicant? Nope, all good, all right. Anyone here to speak in opposition of this zone case? Anyone here to speak in favor? Not seeing any, we'll close the public hearing.
Motion to approve.
Second, Mr. Wheelie, all in favor, I'm sorry, any discussion, comments? Y'all have, you good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Do we want to talk about the, we can't talk about the October 4th meeting, just put it on our next agenda. Okay. Very good. All right, we adjourned.